Okay, we should be good now. All right, we're good now.
Okay,
Thank you.
as I was saying, we are being recorded and it's available and live stream and all that if you were not able to be here. I'm very proud to be your president, very happy, and I do want you to know when my term expires, there will be a peaceful transition of power. Whoever comes after me.
There better be.
Well, we were a little worried, Ed.
That's not fake news.
I do have a quote that's kind of relevant. This is by Kurt Vonnegut.
Yay.
He said, "So the America I loved still exists, if not in the White House or the Supreme Court or the Senate or the House of Representatives or the media, the America I love still exists at the front desk of our public libraries."
Hooray.
Oh,
Here, here.
I thought that was a nice one.
that is nice.
Before we move on with the agenda, I wanted to again give a shout out to Libby Wilson, our former board member, for her award as Library Media Specialist of the Year by the Greater St. Louis Library Association.
Oh,
Great.
She's doing wonderful
that's
work
awesome.
in high school and middle school. And her picture's in the Pulse. You can see it, the announcement this month. But I know she is keeping very busy, which is why she's not with us right now.
Yeah.
That. And I also wanted to ask Lynn, how you doing? Are you recovered from your surgery and everything?
I am.
Surgery.
I had my gallbladder taken out.
Oh,
Yes. So I had 2 days where everything hurt. Apparently the gas that they put in you does some weird stuff, and my muscles ached as if I had just done like an Ironman or something, because I couldn't even lift my legs to just slide them on the couch. They hurt so bad.
Wow.
But after that, I was fine. Just 2 days of that nonsense and everything's good now.
oh, good.
And they tell me I won't spontaneously throw up anymore, which I'm really excited about.
Well, I think I told you that when I started my third career of being a teacher in 1991 over in Clayton, and I had been a substitute, and they hired me at Whitehound for some reason. My first week I had a gallbladder attack, and I missed like my first few days of teaching on a contract, but it was worth it eventually. I got to work with people like Jeanette, and that was such a thrill.
Mhm.
For me, maybe not for her. Oh, let's go on to the agenda, and there are a few changes. We're going to, additions, I should say. Number one, the executive session, we are going to have three different items. Number one is we're going to approve the minutes from the September 1st meeting. And Cindy right now is panicking and thinking, do I have those with me?
I do. I've rehearsed it 3 times today.
You're always ready. Number two, we have a legal matter to discuss, and number three, we have personnel matter to discuss. So those are the changes that I see. Jenna, was there anything else that we talked about we needed to change on there?
I don't think so, unless, I put on here the library facilities committee, but I don't know if we need to discuss anything. I think because you had sent out an email afterwards saying this is who's on it, so maybe we don't even need that.
Well, I did want to talk about it real quickly.
Okay, we'll leave it then.
So with those changes, is there a motion to accept the agenda as amended?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, no. Great. We are accepting the agenda. Moving on to the minutes of the October 2020 meeting. Those have been submitted to all of you. Are there any changes? If not, is there a motion to accept the minutes of the October meeting as submitted?
So moved.
It's been
Second.
moved by Lynn, seconded by Jeanette. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. This is always the easiest part, isn't it? Next is opportunity for public comments. Again, this meeting is being recorded. I don't think we have anybody online or here to make any comments, but Again, public questions and comments are always welcome, maybe directed to Jenna at the front desk or her office or her car in the parking lot, whatever is appropriate. No. So we'll move on to the automatic report. Kathy.
Okay, I'm not sure there's a lot going on you need to hear about, but in the 2021 budget, we're talking about lighting for around the corner of the parking lot. So to get something brighter and then get cameras going that have more than just the front door. So as this gets firmed up, I'll let you know, but there's money being made available and people are talking about it. So that's a good step forward.
That's good.
Great.
Great. I think that'll be very helpful with the Wi-Fi also being available now. So people feel good about that. So anything else from the city, Kathy?
No, not really.
Okay. Thank you very much. Let's go on to the library director's report. Go ahead, Jenna.
Well, since I sent it out early, I'm assuming you guys all had a chance to look over my report. Did anybody have any questions on it, or?
The letter was wonderful.
The letter was so I was like, whoa, when I read it.
So I do have a question.
Yes, Kathy.
So is Jan Martin your cousin or
Right?
niece, or what's the relationship again?
I know, right? I know.
That was lovely. And
That was
most
very
of the-
lovely. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I know she had spoken with someone, I know a couple times, and it said, oh, I want to write a letter, and was like asking for my contact. So I had heard there might be something coming, and then when I got it, I was like, holy cow. That was very thoughtful.
Could we put it on the website? PR.
Sure. Yeah, just that feeling like, oh my gosh, it's like patting your back, you know.
That's very nice.
Yeah.
I'm sure that there are a lot of people who feel those same things and have those same thoughts, and they just don't put them on paper, but we certainly appreciate it.
Yeah, I can do that.
And you can always start it with, we really love working for Brentwood. You know, you can always like say like, we also appreciate what you give to us as a library. So anyway, just as a little like softening we're not just bragging, like we love serving you. I know you do. That's why I feel comfortable saying it.
Yeah. Thanks, Lori. No, that's a good point.
I have another comment, if I may.
Yeah.
On the second page, looking for signage above the space above the door. Not neon pink. No.
Man.
No. Neon purple. Brentwood is purple is a Brentwood color. Come on, not pink. Okay, that's my comment.
Okay.
Of course, you're correct. You're
Okay,
correct.
thank you.
I think, Jenna, if you want to get a neon pink nameplate for your desk, I think we would come see that.
You can put it in the budget. Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah, I mean, yeah, but we should look into some kind of signage for sure, because
That'd be great. That'd be
Yeah.
great. Let me ask you, the report on October, I know sometimes you break that down by children's and adult programs, and I know with the COVID and the library being closed, it's kind of hard to do that, but can you talk a little bit about what you and the staff are doing with, that's focusing for kids and what's focusing for adults, and how that's working out with the people, with the staff and everything?
sure. So the children's has pretty much stayed about the same. We're doing weekly story times, weekly yoga sessions. We kind of discovered that people didn't really want to do a lot of Zoom stuff with us. So that's kind of our limited, I think, offering of, and that's not even Zooming, that's just live or recorded video that we're putting up on our Facebook and our Facebook page. But and for the adults, really, it's just been the as far as programming, we've really just been doing the book club, which has been great, actually. We've get new people every month, which is kind of amazing. Like, I think right now we have like as many people as we normally do, and I'm just like really surprised by that and I'm and glad that that's happening. So yeah, so that's pretty much staying the same. The only other thing I guess is, and you can see like we've been doing more of the grab and go kits, which is what a lot of libraries are doing right now. And she did the Halloween treat bags this year. In October. In November, it's Dino-Vember this month, and she has dinosaur treat bags and dinosaur puzzles, like a really cool wooden puzzle. So we've got a bunch of those, and it's kind of first come, first serve. She makes about 100 of them, and they all get taken. So, yeah. Yeah. And crafts, we're doing crafts too. So pretty much that's kind of been the programming has been book club, story time, crafts, and these kits for kids.
Well, I think I know you are keeping an eye on other libraries as what they're doing and when they start making transitions now that there's a super vaccine. That's what they say on the news, right? It'll be interesting to see how quickly we can get back into a little bit more contact with each other and with our patrons and everything. So, any other questions on the library report, director report? Thank you very much. Let's move on. Let's move on to old business, the financial committee report. And we had a meeting, didn't we, Lynn?
Yes, we did. It was pretty productive.
Yeah, we had a meeting with Jennifer Moss, I believe it is, from PERC and Associates, is our accounting firm. And we met for quite a while in the city hall, socially distanced and all that with masks on, which meant I couldn't hear half of what was said. There's this thing going on next door Park Ridge about tinnitus. Everybody's talking about it. And I said, man, 2 Ramones concerts and I lost all my hearing. I don't know. I don't have it all back. But anyway, man, masks are making it harder. Afterwards, we did a summary of the financial task and who was going to do it among the library director, the treasurer, or PERC, or the city hall and everything. And I think we're close to having that pretty much finalized. I know I sent out the last version, but I think we're getting real close to having that pretty clarified. Len and Jeanette, you want to jump in on some of the things? I don't know how specific we want to get as far as what we're having to do as far as getting insurance and all that. But Len, you want to talk about what we're doing as far as personnel, or Jenna, you can too, and what they're doing as far as personnel.
Well, most of what we're doing now is going to stay the same. The difference is that based on our financial policy that we had already approved, the treasurer or any other board member can be the signatory giving approval for something to be paid instead of having 2. Right now we have the treasurer or a board member and City Hall signing off. So we're eliminating City Hall completely and just having 1 signature unless it's over $5,000, then we get 2. And we're going to be taking our invoices and scanning them in to an email and forwarding the email stream to everybody who needs to give approval and send it that way to PERC so that they have the bills there to be able to pay from. And I think I was going to say we're definitely getting started with QuickBooks, but are we going to keep QuickBooks and make sure that payroll can be, we were looking at using Square for payroll, but they may not be able to
They are
able to manage our vacation hours and sick time and all that.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
So we are going to go with the Square.
So we'll use Square for payroll, and that will all get fed in by Jenna. and sent over as, when you get paid on Fridays, right?
Correct.
So the Wednesday before that Friday pay is when that's needs to be turned in. And that should feed in pretty well straight into QuickBooks. So a next step really now would be to get QuickBooks actually set up with the chart of accounts.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, we do have a bank account now, so we can,
Hip, hip, hooray, Jenna.
so we can actually do that.
You worked hard to get that done, I know.
Oh,
And
And-
all of the payroll information will get to PERC by December 1st so that we can actually run a mock payroll in December and make sure it works before we go live in January.
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I'm feeling like things are progressing very well now that we know who's doing what.
We're just finalizing this chart or list of things and what everybody's gonna be doing, and now we'll have a copy for everybody at the next meeting, so you can have an idea of who's doing what. As board, we obviously have the responsibility to review the monthly statements, to review and approve the budget, things like that. But I was real happy, and I think Jennifer from PERC is gonna be real good for us too. And now Jenna we are looking to have somebody on staff who's gonna do a lot of the bookkeeping besides you, am I right? Is that what the hope is?
Yes. But
Eventually.
yeah, eventually. I think we need to like kind of figure it out ourselves first before we,
Exactly.
yeah. So I'm hoping next year then maybe 6 months in, we can start looking at that.
Budget wise, I think we planned on using PERC for a full year first.
Okay.
But that's
Yeah.
always adjustable. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
but yeah, I think it's going to be very helpful.
Okay. Jeanette, did you have anything to add to that?
No, I don't think so. Did we ever decide if we were gonna have automatic monies sent between the investment accounts?
Yes.
We talked about it, but it's not on this list, I don't think.
No, because we were still talking, I think, about it. So let me go back and look at my correspondence with Karen on that and send it to you if I have
Talking
it.
about the tax levy money from the city to the library?
Yeah,
Yes,
that's
but
what
I,
I assume.
Okay.
yeah, but I was
know we
talking,
had it on there that's gonna happen. I don't know if we knew if it could be a direct deposit. It can't be direct from the county, right? It has to be
Correct.
the city and then.
To my knowledge, it's got to go through the city first.
Yeah, it goes through the city. So just how they do it is, Karen and I still have to talk about that. We've talked about it, but we haven't quite figured it out yet.
yeah, I was just, so we made sure we had enough money in the account every month so that we move
Right.
money from our automatic movement between the two accounts. So
Yeah.
I don't know where that is.
We'll have to establish that once we've determined where the revenue is going. In my opinion, I would just like to see the revenue go straight into our investment account so that we're earning interest on it
Yes.
as much as we can. And then, like Jeanette's referring to, just every month, we take over maybe 65,000, 70,000 to get through a month. And then at the beginning of the next month, we do it again. So there's always enough to pay the bills,
Right.
not a lot of extra, but plenty to get through. And, we're getting the most interest that we can.
Earning as much as we can. Hello, Gary. How are you?
Hi, Gary, wherever you are, I don't see you, but hi.
He's on mute.
You're not as loud as you used to be, Gary. You're muted.
Use some sign language.
There, is that better?
There we
you
go.
So,
Hey,
All right, I'm just having all kinds of problems tonight, sorry.
No.
But we made it.
Okay. We're glad you're here. We just passed a resolution on all the duties that you have now under the financial committee. So we're glad you're here to accept those duties.
No recounts on it either.
If there's no more questions on the financial, let's go ahead to the treasurer's report and the monthly report.
Can I ask a question? before
Okay.
we-
So,
Can I ask a question
Yeah.
real quick? Jennifer's last name from her,
Moss.
MOSS?
Correct.
MOS,
Okay, thank-
we're from us.
yeah, okay, sorry.
She lives
Carry
on the north side of the tree. The monthly reports. Lynn?
okay. So
Yeah.
we still look
You know,
really good.
I am really enjoying being able to read and understand what's going on. You know, I did make some highlighted things in the wrong column at first, but and
Well,
am I correct that when you go to the second column from the end at the top, where it says like 0.65 and 0.91, if it's over 1, that means we're over the budget year to date, right?
correct.
Right.
And that's
Okay.
year to date, not
Percentage, right? Yeah.
the, correct.
Okay. Good. It's been a long time since I did math, but you know. All right. Do you want to? Why don't you go ahead and give us the picture?
Okay. It doesn't, we did not receive any revenue yet in October. Sometimes we get a little bit at the very end of October, but we didn't this year. So November, we should be rolling in dough. We have $1,405,796.04 in our investment account.
Wow.
We only have $8,900 in the checking account.
Oh,
So I know Jenna moved over 50,000 on November 1st, and that should get us through. That should cover our expenses for the month, but we'll also be getting revenue in this month. So I don't foresee any problems there.
That brought up a question for me, Lynn. Cash on, I think we talked about this last time and I may have just lost it. Cash on hand, cash in bank library. What's the difference?
We don't know.
Can we combine those somehow?
Um,
Jenna, is there any reason that we have those 2 different accounts?
You know, I don't know, but at this point, it's all going to change in January.
Yeah, that's what I
right.
just want to make sure.
So
Okay, go ahead.
yeah, cash on hand should disappear, as well as the due to, due from accounts that's on our balance sheet, because they should just be sending us a bill and we'll be paying it, and there's not going to be anything in transition anymore. And I don't know what accounts receivable other is, so hopefully we'll get that clarified as well. If you look at this month's activity, we're a little bit higher and it's in salaries. We pay every 2 weeks, which means that every 6 months, there's an extra pay period.
Okay.
So October happened to be the extra pay period. There are 3 pay periods instead of only 2. So salaries looks really high because we've got 2 instead of 3. It's on target for the year. Actually, it's below for the year, which is expected because we're 1 less person on full-time, and we're down a person part-time because of the janitorial. Let's see. When Jenna and I were talking about the budget for the new year, I think that my budget for 2020 got messed up in that I know we had talked about having $12,000 as our budget for programming for both adults and then 12,000 for children. And for some reason, I've been reporting it all year as 6,000.
Yeah, I was just about to ask you about that.
I'm not sure where that oops happened. I apologize. So knowing that should really have been 12,000, we're in budget on those accounts as well. And the ones that look out of whack are still the same ones I talked about last month. Because we now have janitorial service as an outside, we're paying an outside company that's in a different account than our payroll account. So that's a shift. And our miscellaneous stuff is higher because of the security equipment we bought. But overall, we're doing great. Right now we are $100,000 under budget for the year.
Can I ask about a category, community services? Did I miss that? It's like 234% year to date, actual.
Yes,
that's
because
the-
that's supposed to be 12,000 in the budget, not 6.
So it will come down.
Okay,
So
And
but the two together are still over a bit. If you add, I assume you meant the 5 and 5 are supposed to be
it should be
12,000 each or 12,000 each?
12,000 each.
12,000 each, okay.
Yeah.
So that's why we've got an 11,000 and a 5,000 per actual year to date. Okay,
And we know that programming could easily be higher this year because of, the added cost of postage, and also we're able to do more with a kit than we would be able to do having people come in person. So we will probably in the January meeting, once we have final numbers, we will be making I'll be making a motion to adjust the balances so that the budget is in line with what we spent. So that's an account that will probably be fixed at year end anyway.
and we do that every year. So,
Yes.
so for the newbies, we do that every year to make it all look nice.
right. You change as you need to. And on the second page, miscellaneous, I know it says it includes the police who haven't been needed, but
No, it's the security cameras.
say again, cameras,
Yeah, we didn't need the police this year, but we have
I thought it
the
was.
cameras, all the video equipment. So we'll have to make an adjustment for that one too.
Gotcha. All right, any more questions on the monthly reports from the treasurer?
Hey, Lynn, what's page 2 of this library balance sheet? It says it's the police fire pension fund balance sheet. How does that match up with the library? I
I
mean,
think Jackie
I'm
ran
immediate
that.
with it.
I know.
Okay.
I think someone from City Hall ran it, and it must be like her. But
Cindy,
it's our fund. You can tell it's our fund. That's the numbers are from our fund, but the title is wrong.
Okay.
that was for you to scribble on, Cindy.
Oh, good. I already wrote down big error thing up here. So it's in pencil. It's in pencil.
Okay, any other questions on the treasurer's report? If not, why don't we stick with numbers? Let's go to new business and the budget.
Okay.
And that it was sent out today. And
Yeah, I emailed it to you right before. I apologize.
and so everybody should have one eventually, if you don't have it already printed out. Lynn, Jen, without going into too much detail, you want to just kind of give us the overall picture. And what I'd like to suggest is that if there are any specific things too that you want to be sure and bring to us our attention, like the new Mercedes that Jenna is getting or something like that, let's bring that to our attention, and then we can review it and study it, and we will pass it at the December meeting. So why don't you two go ahead, please?
So basically, we know our income should be 1% higher than this year. That's the Hancock rule. And so we know what our revenue should be in 2021. We've generally been using a 3% cost increase on our expenses. It's a little bit random. I feel like it's a little, it's a little bit higher than what COLA's been the last couple of years. And 3% is been kind of a guideline as far as what we look at for salary increases as well. So I just went with 3% on everything overall. And then we looked at, we sat down and looked at individual categories and said, oh, what changes have happened? Does this need to be higher or does it need to be lower? And then adjust accordingly. And then, I always like to round things off to a $50 amount or a $25 amount or $100 so that we don't have weird $3 left over or anything like that. So that's pretty much how the numbers come. I know that there's an increase in furniture. Jen is looking at replacing the study carrels in the stacks. So that'll be an expense. We usually allocate about 10,000 and we're budgeting 15,000 for 2020. The other areas that I know that are higher, we have in our accounting line, we are including an annual amount of about $25,000 just for monthly work for us. And then we included another $5,000 for the audit that we will be responsible for. We're setting it up as a 2021 expense, but the audit really won't happen until 2022 because it'll be on the 2021 books. So it's there
As a placeholder.
Exactly. Just saving the spot so we don't forget it in 2022. Another major difference, if you look between the 2 years, is that as a new entity, we will have to pay unemployment taxes. I don't know if it's possible to talk to Department of Labor and explain that we're just a new unit within the same thing. We've got this history within our employees. Can we get a lower unemployment rate for that? And I don't know if that's even possible. I'm guessing not, simply because the money that's been collected in unemployment for those folks has been collected under the city. And now we're going to need a pot that's just library. So there's about $5,000, if my math was correct, for unemployment taxes for our employees that we haven't had to deal with until now. And as I said, everything else is pretty much in line with how we've been spending and what we're looking at doing.
We did change some of the names of the categories, so it's
Yes.
clear which things are children's, teens versus adults, so that it's not like community service or whatever it was, community programming or something. So it's really, it's more clear about what the money's for.
Yeah.
So
We do
And
have
now it's programming.
adult and programming children, I think is the breakdown you have now, right? For next year.
Right.
And you've got 12,000 each in that, plus you have books, adult books, children,
Mm-hmm.
and audiovisual. Okay.
And if I remember correctly, we're at about 19% as far as the amount of our budget that is spent on materials. And our guidelines are 15 to 18%. So we're actually a little bit above that, which is great. And we're at 59% for salaries, which I think is also, I think the top on the salaries is supposed to be about 60%. So the few numbers that I do remember that we have to pay attention to from state guidelines we meet, so.
Just a note regarding salaries, we will, in our executive session, talk about salaries. And then again, whatever we agree on will be part of the budget up for approval in December.
Yes. And it's not in the budget for next year, but since we're on the subject, the balance sheet is going to look a little bit different. We're going to have line items for the investment account. It's going to be one account, and there's going to be, the grand total will be in the bank in the one account, but we're going to label it with subcategories, and we'll just have an investment line. We'll have a line that's showing, gosh, my mind is just fried tonight. We want to show an amount that we're setting aside for
The building.
the building, as well as the amount we set aside for emergency purposes. And it's been, guidelines 6 to 12 months. We have 12 months on hand easily, and we will then be able to show those numbers more visibly to anybody who looks at the financial statement at the balance sheet. And then they'll know, oh yeah, we are planning for these things. And that's why we have such a high balance right now. And that we're not just sitting on it because we can. So I think that'll be a nice change for the new system as well.
Len, I'm going to ask if you and Jenna could do one more thing. Because 2020 has been so crazy, and the actual year to date are projected for all of 2020 may not accurately reflect a normal library year. Could you also add the column of what we budgeted for the total year of 2020? And that, I think, will give us a good comparison on when we planned for a normal year, what we thought we would be spending. You could put that right,
That should
you could
be in there.
you could probably eliminate one of the other columns or whatever, but if you could stick that budget column in, I think that would be helpful.
If you want to send it, Lynn, the other one that you did, see, I just did one that I could fit on one page to send to them for reviewing. So it does not have the
Okay.
it does not have the budget for 2020. It just has projected on it.
Okay, I
What
can
I'm
send
thinking,
that.
you might be able to eliminate the year to date through September, because we're going to have 1 month left and project through December anyway. So you might
Right.
be able to eliminate that column.
Okay,
You all, if you do not have it already, you will have this. And what I would like us to do is to go ahead and study this, look at it. And if you have any questions, you can submit one at a time or 5 at a time to Jenna and Len and myself, and or to the whole board. We could start an email chat that way. But let's try to get as many of the questions answered before our next meeting, but then we can have certainly a full discussion of whatever we need to at the next meeting. But I don't think everybody has it to look at right now, so it would be good, I think, to do that for next time. Any objection to that?
I think that sounds fine.
Okay.
Is there any type of,
When you think of
specific-
things, you don't have to pile them up and wait until just before the next meeting. Give a shout out as soon as you know something, have a question.
well, is there any kind of specific feedback you're looking for?
I think maybe it
I
was
guess
more
really-
questions, right?
Yeah, it's,
Just
if
general
you think a
questions.
number looks wrong, or looks like it doesn't seem to be in alignment with the previous year. It's kind of hard because we don't get into specifics on the expenses in each account. We let Jenna worry about which books she wants to buy. So that's a hard question for me to answer, Kathy.
That's fine. I just wanted to know if there was something specific we should be looking for.
I guess if it's not clear too, if it's just like,
Okay.
what is this? I'm like, how, I guess that would be,
Yes.
please ask.
I was kind of wondering if, I know we have a miracle drug on the way, but if there's anything, I know we talked about postage is a little more because we did more mailing things because of COVID. Like, are there any budget categories that we are changing in light of we might be like this for a little while longer? I didn't know if there was anything that was strongly affected by that.
For that specifically, I don't think so. I mean, because it looked like we were still, even with buying PPE, we're still within our supply budget, basically. So
Right.
I think really it was
Yeah.
like maybe the furniture, because the furniture considerations are to make it more able to be clean.
Hygienic. Yeah.
Yeah, hygienic, very much so.
Okay. I was just curious because I was thinking about getting the mobile hotspots and like if that's built in there as well, just as and if that's something that we would, based on how they go and how all of this is happening, if that's something that we would pursue even when it's not COVID, to have that be a service we offer more consistently. So that's all. And my son really wants to get on camera tonight, so sorry about that.
Oh, I missed him.
Did we put in extra, I was at that meeting. Did we put in extra money to replace some of the chairs that really can't be cleaned? We talked
think-
about it.
Yeah, I think we were hoping to actually get that in this year's budget, but I don't know that that's going to be a possibility at this point when I think about it, But yeah, I would think that there would be money in there for that.
Okay.
Because
Well,
we've
I
got
know
some,
there's room. We're spending less than we're bringing in, so we can always up that account.
well, true, but I'm just worried that like actually getting the invoice, if we even like, if I even got someone to take the job now, it probably wouldn't be invoiced till after.
Right, so maybe that needs to be 20,000 per furniture instead of 15.
Maybe thinking about that.
I think also if any of you, especially some of you new members, if there's something you've been thinking about, why can't we do that? Or let's try that as a program or something that added to the library, bring that up, raise that as a question, and maybe we'll either find the money or we'll resort the money or something. So let's go ahead then. And again, when you get your copy of the budget, start going through there, looking at things that stand out to you, and we will finalize it next month. Thank you, Jenna and Lynn, for all your work on that. And
Thank you, Lynn.
appreciate it. Is that a round of applause? I saw it.
Thank you.
So Lynn are on the same page.
Next thing on the agenda is the Library Facilities Committee, and I just want to say I appreciate, I did have responses. Besides myself and Jeanette, the three members who indicated an interest are Cindy, Gary, and Kathy R. And then Jenna and a staff member. And Kathy O'Neill is going to give us some expertise and maybe some city expertise if we need it. But what I would like to do is I will send a separate email out to members of the committee, and we'll talk about when do we want to meet, setting goals, that kind of thing. So you'll be getting something from me on that within the next couple of weeks.
Okay.
Any questions? I'm sorry. And if you see any place for sale. You notice the old Brentwood Community Center is up for sale. You know where that is?
No.
It's that big old house on Hannah Lee.
Oh, wait.
Oh,
A big 2-story house, and there's a big brick wall, stone wall on the street. That was a community center for many years.
wow.
I learned to macrame there.
That's a lost art.
Right. All right. Next thing is goals. And let's see, what are we talking about with goals? And under the Missouri, I think it's called Structure, Administration, and Governance document. Standard 7 and guideline 17, the board is and librarian are supposed to come up with goals for the year. And so we had some that we came up with a year and a half ago now, I think. Am I right? And those were sent out by Jenna, I think, along with the agenda and minutes for this meeting.
Right.
There are two types of goals. One is the library board goals. Those are kind of the broad, more BSC type things, if I may use an education term, that we have the responsibility of working towards. And then the director's goals are more library task, program, et cetera, that she would like to see happen. And we usually just say, it sounds good, and Jenna moves ahead with them. And we don't really need to do much on hers, but I know she's going to be coming up to them. There was a question about whether to add this process to the bylaws, and we'll look into that. But I think since it's governed by the Missouri governance document, we may not need to actually do that. But does everybody have a copy of the May 2019, what we had?
Yep.
Yes.
Yes.
The first one was to legally define the desired relationships with the city, etc. We have moved very, very far on that. We hired an attorney. We got a tax ID number down. Am I right?
Yep.
Yes.
Yay. We're developing written policy and procedures. We got an accounting service. We're looking for a bookkeeper, maybe. Investment has changed. Contract agreement, we're working on that with the city. And we've had the lawyer attend our meetings. So we are moving very well on our goal A. B, I believe we had our safety subcommittee, right? And you all have dealt with safety issues. Am I right on that, Jenna, that we've dealt with most of these?
Yeah, Cindy and I, we worked on the cameras and getting I got the alarm system in. I guess the one thing we haven't done is to rewrite the safety plan, the written safety plan. So that's maybe something that we should look into
We can
for 2020.
carry that over to this next year and make it a goal and one that can be easily accomplished. The next is to explore a new physical space through conversations. And I think all of this comes under the library facilities committee.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we would want to keep that the same. Next is create a compensation plan for staff with comparable salaries across the municipal library consortium. Did we
Yeah, and that was done last year.
Sure, we did last year.
That our December meeting last year where we were with the library at the school? Is that what we did?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So you can see we've moved really well, I think, on what were some very major earth-shattering goals for that group. And I think we're doing very well. There will be some that will carry over, but now making goals for the next year. And I think, again, homework is for all of us to think. And not to pick on you newbies, but if you're relatively new to the board and think about when somebody said, hey, you want to be on the board, think, you know what? This would be good if we could do this. Or after seeing our meetings, what kind of goals besides better jokes? And what kind of things do we want to accomplish as a library for Brentwood? So I think what I would like to see, and Jenna, you do the same with your goals, is to kind of brainstorm and submit some things, and then by a new timetable I'm kind of preparing is we kind of talk about them in December, and then we try to start implementing things, passing and approving them in January. So does that sound like a plan of attack for this?
We have, we may need an extra month because we're doing salaries, we're doing budget, in December.
Right, right.
Yeah.
That's why I kind of had that timetable put it, that we kind of approve them, I think, in January, then we move ahead on them. And really don't think anything is too general or too specific. Because, I mean, we can wordsmith them as we need to. And with probably a subcommittee this time. Done that before with the whole board, and
It was,
interesting. So any other thoughts on that, or can we move ahead with that? Jenna, your goals were to attend the Brentwood I didn't see you at any chamber meetings. You know, I go to all of them representing the Alumni Association, so I can represent,
Yeah,
but I'd like you to come to the library.
Oops.
I know. I failed miserably at that one, and I could have attended those Zoom meetings, but it just didn't happen for me.
They haven't
So-
had it since March, so
I thought they had them on Zoom. They haven't been doing them that way either.
Well, we had a couple Zooms. I went on one or two of them, but they're having problems maintaining that.
Oh, okay. Well, then I don't feel so bad.
We got official passport site now.
Well, again, we were going to be. So Trinice, I asked her to take charge of that project, and she did. She was ready, and then COVID happened.
Yeah.
And now, we can't do it until we just, yeah. So essentially staff has been trained. I think we have I think we have everything set up to do it, but we can't do it right now.
Okay, well, why don't you, yeah, and then you also had a formal system for staff training and a system for feedback. I know you've been working on that, so why don't you look at those and any new ones that you have, and let's carry them over till next time, if that's right.
Yep, sounds good.
All right, the library employee handbook, Jenna, you added that to the agenda.
I did, because, as you know, like if we were going to be our own entity and not relying on the city's, not falling back on their handbook, we're going to need to make sure that everything is covered in our handbook. So I know this has come up several times. I think we were supposed to give it to Jeanette when she was healing at one time, but it didn't happen.
no.
So basically what we need to do is go through the city handbook and just see if there's anything that we need to carry over and to add to the library employee handbook. I don't think it has to be as detailed, obviously, as the city handbook, which is a very large document compared to ours. But I mean, I think it would be worth looking at and just making sure that we don't have any holes in ours. And I had something specific in mind, and now I don't know. Okay, but so that, I don't know if that is that committee work, Ed, or is that
I was thinking if one of the board members would like to volunteer to work with you, does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely.
Anybody work in human resources and do that kind of stuff? Anybody been fired before? No. So is Secretary of
I'm in
Defense.
fine.
Would anybody like
I'd be happy to help. I'd be
All
happy
right.
to help you with that.
Okay, thank you, Lori. That would be
Yeah,
awesome.
you bet.
Okay, I will. I'll email you then.
And you can make that one of your goals.
Yes.
Yeah, 2021.
And I'd be happy to be a second reader.
Oh, great.
Okay.
Great.
Yeah, we did a lot of work on that back when Lisa Stump came on board. And I think at one of those meetings, we had a pretty good discussion about some of the changes in the city handbook for, I think a lot of it was domestic partner or, whatever. We changed a lot of things in our portion of the handbook.
Yeah.
Yes, we did.
We took a lot of time doing that, just, looking at the numbers, the hours were different, the salary hours, the work hours. There was just a lot. So maybe I don't think that would change, would it?
No, but there, I feel like I would have to look at it again. I feel like there are some holes in it though, of our, because when we were looking at it with Lisa, we weren't really sure about.
We had a question about overtime and pay periods. I know that we had
Right.
resolved.
Yeah, and that is actually, that's gonna come up pretty soon for us. I think we're gonna need to have a discussion about that, like when we start doing our own payroll. Can I just throw this out there right now, but we're gonna need to
Well,
Where did she go?
Uh-oh. Come back, Jenna.
Where's the leader?
apparently she's fired.
Oh,
Too many goals.
I bet she comes back. All right, well, thank you. And Jenna, I'm gonna wait for you.
she'll come back.
You think she knows? Did everybody have a nice weekend? Wasn't it a beautiful weekend?
Oh, yeah.
Leave.
My wife and I every week are finding a new park in St. Louis County we've never heard of. 2 weeks ago, we went to Bee Tree Park, as far south as you can go off
Mhm.
Telegraph, overlooking the Mississippi. This weekend, we went to Fort Bellefontaine, overlooking the Missouri, as far north as you can go. It's just beautiful parks, and of course, the weather's been really nice. And
Yeah.
plus, we were out banging pots and shooting fireworks without betraying my political views.
There was a lot of that going on Saturday.
Yeah.
Um,
You think she knows that she's not with us?
yeah, I'm sure it is. Lynn, did we put in, can I go back to a different topic?
Absolutely.
Lynn, did we put in for errors and omissions?
Ooh.
That was supposed to be, I'm pretty sure we were told that was covered under the insurance policy,
Nope,
but
it's not. Were you on this email? No. What was the quote? Yeah, there was 2 companies and I don't know if she's picked one, but where are the quotes?
Well, I'll tell you what, I think Jenna will be back with us soon.
Yeah.
I think I have,
$1,500, Lynn. About,
okay.
or put 1,550. And that's just for errors and omissions. If one of us does something dastardly.
That's per person, per board member,
No, for
or for the whole shebang.
whole shebang. And it's $1 million coverage. And that includes employment practices. And if we do something that, I don't know what we would do, but yeah. She got 2 bids. And they both are about the same from what I can tell. So,
Jenna's computer has crashed. She's trying to resuscitate. She just emailed me. Kathy, I think what we're going to do is do our executive session, and I want to thank you. And will we see you tomorrow night at the book club?
Yes,
Did you read that dirty book?
I read the whole.
oh, what book was it this
I read it
time?
twice. I really liked it.
Fleischman is in trouble.
Oh,
Yeah,
That's why attendance at book club is going up. That's quite a racy
Too
book.
much sex, he said.
Whoa.
most of the dirty parts are in the first half. After that, it gets pretty interesting.
very philosophical,
Hi,
and very
Jenna.
blessing.
We're
Oh
having a
my
book club
gosh.
discussion.
Hey,
Is
first,
there such a thing as philosophical sex? I don't know.
Thank you, Kathy.
Oh man, what did I miss?
Good. Welcome back, Gina.
I am so sorry. I don't know what happened there, but
All right.
Okay.
I'm back.
Kath, we need a motion to go into executive session.
So moved.
Moved by Jeanette, seconded by Gary. Roll